And then the next day, and you know, y'all, if y'all been following along for any length of time, you know, my thing is very much so, especially when I'm on prep, is, you know, win the day, because it can get really overwhelming thinking about, you know, like what you want to do or what your goals are or anything like that. And that's nothing. If goals don't overwhelm you, get bigger goals. Up, 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 up. It can be overwhelming thinking about, you know, like the long-term goal or the end result that you want. So, you know, you just got to focus on, you know, laying that brick for that day, winning the day, doing which is, that's been a focus of mine for a couple preps now. It'll be the focus of mine for this prep, is just, you know, doing everything in my control as best as I can.
When you're fucking thinking about training, we training. When you're laying on your fucking couch, watching Sports Center, we training. When you're thinking about winning, we training and winning. Yep, how far you want it? Good job, Tony, right here. Come on.
I don't really know if anyone's really had legs like his since his, honestly. His are freaky, like in every sense of the word. My dad's got a funny story about seeing him backstage at a show that he was guest posing at, saying like when he walked, like every time his foot came off the ground, his hamstring like wagged like a fishtail. That's kind of crazy, but no, I mean, I got good legs for sure. They can always be better, so we're gonna keep on pushing them and see what they look like in 11 weeks. So I love leg training. Like I was telling Brian, you know, right now, not meaning to call it like a nagging pain. It's just last couple leg sessions, everything's been so tight lately from starting getting on the stairs again for cardio, and just, I mean, we've been pushing it for a good 6 months now. I had some ground to make up from that surgery, so everything's just a little tight. Nothing's beat up. I actually feel really fresh. It's the best I've ever felt for a prep, which is awesome to be able to say. I don't know. It's definitely starting to dawn on me that I have the chance this year to go from an unproven rookie to one of the best bodybuilders in the world if I do what I want to do. So that's definitely starting to be just about all I'm thinking about right now. I don't know. It's gonna be an exciting year. Straight to the end of Labrada or straight to the Labrada or what?
That looks funny. It looks really funny.
What thigh gap? I don't have a thigh gap or a calf gap. Secret to calf training.
Yeah.
Summed up in 3 simple, easy steps. Use perfect form. Use drop sets so you can go both heavy and high rep. I.e., like you saw what I did, I stacked it for like 10 or 12, 2/3 of the stack for like 10 or 12, 1/3 of the stack for like 10 or 12. Obviously scale it to your strength level, but I used both heavyweight and got 30, 35 reps during that set. And the last one is the set starts when it feels like you have like battery acid pumping through your calves. It should be excruciatingly, like terribly painful. Keep on going, you're fine, you won't die, I promise. I've been trying to kill myself training calves twice a week for like almost 10 years. Hasn't happened yet. I do have good calves though. Built like a fortress around the stack, so you can't pin plates to it. So, I mean, all you need is like a daisy chain, a carabiner, and a band. Like, just the basics, right? Yeah, let's be really clear about that. So for the people that are gonna ask in the comments, the thing we use for all the reverse band work is called the daisy chain. It's for rock climbing. They're on Amazon. They're not that expensive. I know it looks like froofy as hell, like I swear we're not super soft-handed, but The towels make a huge difference. I'll tell you why. So without the towels, like the pad, the skin sticks to it real bad. And as funny as that sounds, whenever it's like super, super duper heavy and it's sticking both, you know, here and up here, what's in the middle of this and this? Your knee joint. So it's actually putting a lot of undue stress and kind of mashing on my knee joint there because it's not allowed to like glide freely. So by having the towels there, you'll feel it if you try it. Everything glides a lot freer and you're able to really move through the range of motion like how it should feel, a lot better. Other goofy thing, and I'm like, people are gonna be like, oh, why are we using a seatbelt? Buckle up for safety right now, I'm just kidding. So whenever you're doing these, the more that you're able to keep your hips down and back into the hamstring curl, the greater the range of motion you're gonna get and the greater the contraction you're gonna get out of your hamstring. Up. 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 Up.
Two more. Squeeze. One more. Squeeze. Squeeze. You like jump out of the machine because it hurts so bad after.
Describe what does it feel like?
You just want to get up and stomp on the ground
Yeah.
for 5 seconds and you're good.
The Holy
The
Spirit?
hamstrings just like, they cramp very well.
I get to stomp my feet and walk in 3 circles. Good to go.
Yeah. And then you stand up for a minute and all the blood's in it now.
This is the sweat switch set too. Every leg workout,
Yes.
unless we're training at a gym doesn't have AC, not really sweating until that set. Do that set, just start pouring. Rest of the work. Don't have enough like middle back strength, will literally like fold you in fucking half. And unfortunately, it's a weak spot of mine still, so something I've been actively working on. But in this exercise, I'll actually have my stabilization go before my quads. So you know what they say, make hard things easy and you'll be better. So been starting with him for like 6 weeks now. He's about to kick my ass at him because he's got a silverback gorilla back and then I'll get even with them on the hack squat, or at least try.
Go.
Okay. You know, I'm only, you know, like people see me and I'm like 27, I'm not 28 yet. My birthday's actually the day after the New York Pro this year. But, you know, so people see me and they see, you know, like a relatively young guy. But, you know, like people don't understand that while I'm relatively young years-wise, like my training age is not young. I've been training, you know, like very, very hard since I've been, you know, like 17 years old. So, you know, a decade now. And, you know, I'm talking like there's never been more than, you know, like there might be a month total in that time, not counting my surgery recovery time in the last 10 years, that I wasn't eating 5 or 6 meals a day, training as hard as I could. You know, it's been, you know, as close to perfect as I can possibly do it for, you know, 10 years. And that's the kind of consistency it takes, you know. And, you know, you might be consistent like that for years and years and years and years and really never, you know, like hit like any kind of like huge stride, and then, you know, you just have a breakthrough year just because things like really, you know, start clicking for you. So it's just, you know, it's, people are so damn impatient these days, and that's one of the biggest things is, you know, it takes time, and it's not like we're talking about, you know, like building like a really fast car and, you know, like skimping on something, or, you know, like rushing the build, and it's not a big deal if it blows up or something other than it costing you money. Like, it's your health. You know, you only have one body. You can only, you know, like you ruin your health, it's ruined. It's not like you get to go buy a new body. So, you know, it's like that's the biggest thing. That's the dark side of what we do, is the people who don't keep that in perspective and, you know, put bodybuilding ahead of everything else. So that's definitely, you know, like one of the biggest things that I like to keep in mind, and has definitely made me take the you know, the long approach to it, because, you know, while I do absolutely want to be the best in the world, there is life after bodybuilding, and I do realize that, and, you know, so it's a balancing act for sure. But, you know, as far as, you know, doing it for a decade, well, how do you link to get, how do you make a decade of consistency happen? By each day. By doing it that day, and then the next day, and then the next day, and then the next day. And, you know, y'all, if y'all been following along for any length of time, you know, my thing is, like very much so, especially when I'm on prep, is, you know, win the day, because it can get really overwhelming thinking about, you know, like what you want to do or what your goals are or anything like that. And that's another thing. If goals don't overwhelm you, get bigger goals. But, you know, it can be overwhelming thinking about, you know, like the long-term goal or the end result that you want. So, you know, you just got to focus on, you know, laying that brick for that day, winning the day, doing what's in your control that day to get better. So that's been a focus of mine for a couple preps now. It'll be the focus of mine for this prep, is just, you know, doing everything in my control as best as I can. And, you know, that gives you a certain level of peace of mind. That's another thing, you know, touch on that, you know. So as an amateur, I did 5 shows. I won 5 shows. That was that. I never lost as an amateur. And I'm not going to say I went into this prep thinking I'm going to lose. I think I'm going to win both shows. But fact of the matter is, you know, I'm going to lose eventually as a pro. And, you know, it's going to be a lot easier of a pill to swallow knowing and having that peace of mind that I won every day on that prep. Because if I win every day, I'm at my absolute best, I couldn't have been any better. You know, if someone beats me, it's not going to be someone my age. It's going to be someone that's been doing it for another 10 years longer than me or something like that.
Right, that's what I told him. I said, at least no, you have.
Up, 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 up. You know, it is a peace of mind thing. Bodybuilding is a subjective sport. It's not always going to go your way, but when it doesn't go your way, it's a lot easier of a pill to swallow to go, okay, well, you know, I couldn't have done anything better. Anything that was in my control, I did. So, you know, I got beat, whatever. Let's get better. Instead of, man, I really wish I wouldn't have skipped that cardio session, and I had those 3 days where I went off the rails on my diet, and, you know, I could have trained harder those days, and blah, blah, blah. And it's got a million things playing in your head about what you woulda, coulda, shoulda done. You know, you lost your peace of mind. You know, as long as you win each day, you always have your peace of mind regardless of the outcome. So it's definitely a mindset that I'm you know, very much so indoctrinating and keeping in mind. So,
And you know your progress, and you can tell yourself that you're going to get there because you already know how far you went, too. And to build on what you were saying before, you know, I'm a little bit older than him, but every year has gotten easier to make progress for myself. And, you know, it's been, these last few months, I've made more progress than I've ever made. And it's been, I don't know if it's been easier, but I'm just, being disciplined is just part of my life. It's just the way it is. So, you know, just laying bricks has just been easier. You know what I mean?
don't pray for a lighter load, pray for a stronger back.
Who said that?
I don't know, some really smart, ingenious person, probably.
Yeah.